We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on the Jets offense preview for the Dolphins game on Friday. And this is probably the biggest mismatch the Dolphins defense will have all year long. Jets offense is really struggling. They'll see Tim Boyle, and the second half of the video, you'll see some Boyle clips when he played in this game later on. They like to run the ball a lot. Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are pretty much their entire offense. I think Breece Hall is like the main concern because to get Garrett Wilson's a really good player, but to get him the ball, like the quarterback play has to be good, the blocking has to be good, and they have a really poor line and not good quarterback play. And the Dolphins have some good DBs out there, so I think they can limit him. And then their running game is not very good either. They'll run the ball a lot with Breece Hall, just limit him getting some big plays because most of his plays go for little to no gain. It's just they like to get him the ball in space. A lot of their biggest plays come on like screens or dump offs to Breece Hall. He's very explosive in that area. But I think if you can just limit some like random big explosives, they should be fine. You'll see how Boyle likes to play in difference to Zach Wilson. We'll go through some of the the early parts of this game just to see like the different types of concepts like they like to run, and it will be pretty interesting to see how they go against Boyle because he has not had a very good career even before the NFL. And I think the Dolphins defense should really, as long as the offense doesn't make like too many mistakes, the defense should really carry them to a victory in this game. They'll run the ball a lot, and they'll try to take their play action deep shots down the field. At least they would do this with Wilson, and these are just some of the different concepts where they have like a two-man route concept down the field taking some shots. Usually one's like a deep cross or a deep post. Here at the bottom, they have the post and then running the dig behind it, and they go against, a deep third coverage. And it was actually open, but they just get pressure on them too quickly. The O-line play is just pretty weak. They'll have some dump-off options. Really, this is where you take over the game. Can the Dolphins' defensive front just get a bunch of pressure on the quarterback? And I think that they do. They should, honestly, there's a decent chance they don't really give up anything. Like, look how easily the Shaq Lawson wins that battle one-on-one versus that right tackle. They are pretty weak, and I think the Dolphins' front has been playing so well, too. That's really where the biggest mismatch of this game comes into play. I could see the Dolphins going a little more single high in this game, especially on early downs. Like, they've been mixing it up. They've run a lot of single high throughout the year, like their cover 3, cover 9s, just to stop the run on 1st and 10 because the Jets will be trying to run the ball early and often, and the Bills just shut it down the whole game. And I just feel like the Jets have not had a lot of success running the ball at all. Like, Breece Hall's a good player, but there's really nowhere for him to go. And when he does have somewhere to go, he usually breaks off like one long run a game, but for the rest of the game, it's typically plays like this. They go single high, everyone gets downhill in a hurry, and I feel like with how well the Dolphins' run defense is playing, which is pretty solid, they're not the best in the league, but they're definitely nowhere near the worst either, that they should be fine in this area as well. But as I was saying, Breece Hall dump-offs, screen plays, anything like that, they get some action going here just to throw, some play action, slide route to Breece Hall out into the flat, forces, 7 into a tough spot because he's reading the backfield just a little bit late, and that's all it takes for Breece Hall to get some space out there. This is where a lot of their explosive plays have come from. Like their touchdown, you'll see later, is on a screen to Breece Hall. They had, a touchdown a couple weeks ago on a screen to Breece Hall. Last week versus the Raiders, he had another 30-yard play on a screen. Like, this is where a lot of their explosives come from. I think maybe having, like, a player like Andrew Van Ginkel out there responsible for running back on a lot of plays in, like, man-to-man or matching, or even Baker with their speed out to the perimeter. I think, as long as they can see the play pretty well, I think they could do a decent job trying to neutralize this. This is a 2nd and 13. There was a 3-yard loss on the first play, and then they just bring pressure. They go cover 1, bring some pressure, and even though Garrett Wilson's open, like as I was saying, Garrett Wilson will be open a lot. Like, they just get the exact look they want, but some guy comes in unblocked. Versus Boyle, I think this is the biggest difference in the quarterbacks. Boyle, when he played, was getting the ball out very quickly, just taking what was given to him, like quick 4-yard completions. Now, they were down a lot, and the Bills were giving up a little bit of space there. I expect him to be more like that, a little getting out the ball quicker than Zach, but Zach also gives you a much more of a threat as like a runner. But yeah, if you get pressure on either of the QBs, they'll fold big situations. You stop the run on 1st down, give them no gain, you can really have your guys tee off on 2nd and 3rd and take advantage of their poor O-line play and poor QB play. And then here's one of the Douglas interceptions, trying to throw the ball. They actually get a little bit of time, and the corners just started sitting on things. Like, they are not very good deep ball throws. They're not really threatened by it. The Bills are playing, some quarters here, but he's playing with, he's squatting on this more, baiting this throw. He opens up his hips. I could easily see Ramsey having a similar type of play, baiting these throws, especially with Boyle in the game, because Wilson threw this type of play right here, but Boyle was throwing a lot of quick passes, and if that first initial look isn't there, he looked pretty uncomfortable with like his timing and rhythm too. Like he always was throwing off his back foot. So I think, you get a little pressure on them and you can really, really create some big defensive plays. They might even score a touchdown in this one. This is a 4th and 2. They have Breece Hall working across. He's the main guy here. They run some mesh. They're trying to pass it off late, play man-to-man. This is who they want to get the ball to. Like, Garrett Wilson is a beast. Probably their best player on offense, but they've struggled to really get him the ball down the field just with timings and things. So they're, like, feeding Breece underneath and allowing him to go to work, and that's where a lot of their big plays come with. 4th down, they trust him to make these plays in these big-time moments. And Hall did give the Dolphins some trouble last year in the first meeting that they had, but this is a different defense for sure. And then here's the touchdown. Just a screen to Breece Hall. Bills don't even bring like pressure to it. They just execute these plays better than other ones. And Breece Hall is a much better player out in space when he's not like just reading down the line of scrimmage and there's no gaps to work through. He's very elusive. He's pretty strong as well. So just having someone recognize this, they just see the play too late. Like 25's man-to-man on him, but he just isn't able to get downhill in time. Allows the offensive lineman to get out there in space, cut him off. And that's just, a touchdown for the Jets. Something to be aware of for sure. Now getting to the Tim Boyle portion of the game. Bill started running more cover 2, giving some of these quick passes away. So you can see the real difference. Like the Bills with Zach Wilson in the game, first of all, they're up a lot right now, and it's late in, fourth quarter. So they feel like they can give up some of these easy completions. So if the Dolphins do go like man-to-man, put a little more pressure on the quarterback, he might have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, allow that defensive line to feast. But here's, just him getting the ball out, first cover 2, recognize the leverage. You take this if you're a defense, but at the same time, you don't want to just give this stuff up for free, dink and dunk. And then you'll see literally the next play, they do something very similar. He's just going to take what's given to him. Bill's rotating into cover 3 this time. This player widens out into the flat. He clearly sees the field better than Wilson. It's a very limited sample size, though, and I do feel like he's always doing this. They're bringing pressure. He's always falling off his back foot on these throws. I feel like even when there wasn't a ton of pressure, he was doing this types of thing. But then once he started throwing the ball a little more down the field or had to come off his first read, he made some not so good throws or not some good decisions either. Just want to show another example of him getting the ball out quickly, this time to Garrett Wilson as your number 2. Clearly the difference, and I think why they want to get him the ball. Wilson ends up fumbling, which is, a pretty big mistake from him, so this play ends up working out for the Bills. But Bills are up 29-6. They're now playing some quarters, giving up some of the dink and dunk stuff, and these quarterbacks just taking what's given to him. Can't blame Boyle in these types of situations. Ball comes out with some decent timing too. It's not like super early. I do feel like you can make him pay for this type of stuff. Get underneath, read the QB's eyes. He's not trying to look anyone off, things like that either. And this is also a late game scenario, so I feel like having the full game to prepare for him, you can have some more success, and then you'll see what the Bills do later on. And they get a 3rd and 10 versus Boyle here, and they're able to get a sack. Just win quickly. They bring some pressure with 4. They're trying to throw the ball down the field more this time, and then Boyle is forced to hang on to it. So as you can see, this is why it's fine. If you stop the run, you should have some success early on. If you stop the run, you'll be fine versus Boyle, because as long as you don't give up the dink and dunk all game long, look at all these route concepts. They're all working past 10 yards this time. Boyle clearly doesn't see it as well or feel as comfortable. If he throws that ball with anticipation, he actually has a chance to complete those passes over the middle. And then there's not even a ton of pressure on him right away. They get some good pressure, but it's not super quick. This is easily something you can see the Dolphins, having some success with, and he drops his eyes once the pressure comes. He's not a very good quarterback either. This time, 3rd and 3, they get more pressure on him. He's trying to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson. He gives a little bit of a hesitation there. He's clearly not as comfortable with the receivers. You can see he's ready to throw it on the break, but he just doesn't do it. He doesn't commit, even though it probably would have been completed and been open. Now the pressure gets to him. He gets hit, and then he misses his option. Plus, if he actually throws it to Wilson, he probably gets destroyed because he does that double clutch, and he just kind of throws it really weirdly too. You can see he isn't able to step into it either because of that pressure. Just making him feel uncomfortable is a big key to this game. Last play they're gonna break down. It's 4th and 5. He throws an interception to Rasul Douglas. They're trying to throw it at the sticks. The Bills are clearly playing a little more on the second level. They're sitting at the sticks this time. They were giving up these 4 or 5 yard completions early on in the game. Now they're starting to squeeze these coverages. He comes off his first read, then tries to find Conklin. The corner baits the throw. Douglas makes a good interception result on that specific play. Big time work there from the Bills specifically, but getting him off his first read, he's, look how quick he has to work. Like, you can tell his internal clock is firing on all cylinders after getting sacked a couple times. Facing that pressure, he's got some happy feet and then makes a poor decision. It is, a late game scenario. We'll see how it ends up working out when he has to play a full game from start to finish. And I think the Dolphins defense could really have a field day. Just no lapse in judgment, no starting slow, playing down to your opponent. If they come out hungry, I could see them really just taking over, having a real big statement game like they have been having lately. So here's the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.